Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and we are back for another Game of Thrones reaction video. And today we are up to season 4, episode 2, The Lion and the Rose. And as always, I am joined by my co-host Tyler. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, how's it going? Two
All
episodes in,
right. Yes.
season 4.
And this week we are joined by a special guest, my friend from over at Geekly Goods, Leo. Hey, Leo.
Hey, what's going on,
Woo.
guys? Thanks for having me on. Glad to
Yes,
join on such a awesome episode.
I know. It's our
Yeah,
first guest since the Red Wedding and Sean Chandler came on. Our first
the
guest
Red
of
Wedding.
season 4. So,
Well, that means that's not a good sign then, because that means that something bad may happen.
well, Leo, want to let people know a little bit about your history with Game of Thrones, what you're coming into this reaction with when it comes to the series.
Yeah, sure. So I actually started Game of Thrones when season 4 was going. So I
Oh,
started Game of Thrones late, but not too late to
yeah.
when the series had already been done. So this is like one of my favorite seasons. But when I came into this, I caught up all the way to season 4, and this was the episode I finally caught up to.
Oh,
And I'm just like, oh my God, getting to watch this again is gonna be both good and shocking. But this is probably my third or fourth time watching it because I've been through the series 3 times already, all the way
Oh
through.
man.
So this will be like, yeah, my fourth time watching this episode.
perfect. Well, we're glad to have you on, Leo. Now, to catch us up to where we are after the season premiere, last week we saw Tywin making 2 swords out of Valyrian steel, the Valyrian steel that was Ned Stark's ice. And we see him give one to Jaime, though we have yet to see his purpose for that second sword. Then we saw and met Prince Oberyn Martell and Ilaria Sand coming to represent the Dornish capital at the royal festivities that are almost upon us, played obviously by the wonderful Pedro Pascal. And we learned that Oberyn came in his brother's stead not just because his brother's sick, but also to seek justice for his sisters and her children's deaths.
Revenge.
Yes, revenge. Then we see Daenerys as she is being wooed by Dario Naharis with flowers as she is setting upon the city of Meereen. But the slave masters of Meereen send Daenerys an ominous message and crucify child slaves at the mile marker of her entire path. Then we saw Tyrion for just a bit, obviously interacting with Sansa, but things got quite tense with Shay this last episode, as he didn't tell her he wanted her to stay with him and kind of left it on that sour note. Then we were introduced to the Fens, who are the cannibal tribe of the wildlings.
Yeah, that was interesting. I knew they were cannibals right away because I even say it before they reveal they're cannibals. Like they seem very cannibalistic with the way they were describing these people.
Right.
So we met them as they are joining up with Ygritte and Tormund as they continue their march towards Castle Black and the rest of the Night's Watch. Maester Aemon stepped up to save Jon Snow when he was put on trial for killing Horan Halfhand. Sir Dantos gives Sansa a necklace last episode to repay her for saving his life. And we get to see Sansa have a nice moment after she's like not eating and depressed and just sad after her brother and mother were killed. So, yay. And we end the episode with 2 different swords this time around, those being the swords of Arya and the Hound, as Arya finally gets Needle back. Yes, after over a season of being separated from her sword. And her and mostly the Hound just wreck shop. They are now on their way up to the Vale so that he can try to sell Arya off to her aunt Liza Arryn. So, that's where we are heading into episode 2, The Lion and the Rose. So let's go ahead and get into the episode.
Oh. Poor Winterfell.
All the smoke in Winterfell.
One day he will be rebuilt. Oh.
Reach struggling, dog.
He's trying.
God, he sucks so bad.
What a sadistic game.
Yeah, what the hell? Bro, look at them dogs, though.
They're vicious. Those dogs are mean.
They hungry, bro. Like, where my next meal at?
We have to reward the hounds now.
Jelly much?
Reward the hounds. No, don't reward the hounds. Ooh.
Glad they didn't show it.
Thankfully, I guess. But hearing it though is still just terrible.
And seeing him just like break down.
And of
Here
course,
goes some more sausages.
Yay!
we cut to the sausage.
Amazing.
To the proud Lannister children, the dwarf, the cripple, and the mother of man.
Poor Tyrion. He's just throwing shade. He's just throwing shade all around.
I have just the one.
Oh man, who's it gonna be? Of course it's Bronn.
Run!
Right here is where I fuck his wife.
God, Bronn is hilarious.
We haven't seen too much Bronn lately, so this is already a massive treat. I'm liking this little secret training by the water area they got going on.
He just slaps him, doesn't even give him a break. Homie just shoved him like.
Some tough love, some tough training.
No mercy.
No, sweep the leg.
Waldo, this is Ramsay Snow, my bastard.
Oh, these terrible people that I hate.
This was Balin Greyjoy's son.
We've known our enemies for 1,000 years.
The Bolton, you're a Snow.
Hmm?
Damn.
Lister has given me the
Put him in his place, bro. Like,
I mean, I guess that's kind of a nice thing. He's getting some sort of shade thrown at him. It's just a shame that the person shading him is someone I hate.
yeah, like somebody just as bad, if not worse.
That is a conundrum. Who is worse at this point in time? Well, I see they don't have a very good relationship.
How could you let me see this?
Now, what if he just pulls like a Sweeney Todd and just like ends it right here?
Tell father. How you feel about that?
See, it's like, which of these two guys is worse? And then Randy says something like that.
As he's got a blade to his throat too. Do it, Theo.
Enrique had a shot.
That was his chance.
Bring this creature of yours. Maybe he'll be of some use.
This creature, like it's clearly still a human being.
Right. He a pet, bro. Here go the king of shade right here, y'all. Varys.
Oh God.
It's been noticed that Sansa's father has promised to hang the next whore he finds you with. Have you ever known your father to make an idle threat?
Hmm?
Shall I call you father?
I should be honored, your grace.
Every time he speaks, man, Joffrey just so cringe.
Uh-oh. Words traveling.
They better leave Shay alone.
Tyrion just giving that look. He knew.
Freshly forged in your honor.
Oh, we're gonna give it to him.
Right. He does not need no sword.
What unspeakable things is he gonna do with that?
So they say.
Oh, this guy. So, like I said, Joffrey's not a fan of reading.
Yep. Yo,
Yo,
Stormbreaker was cool as hell.
Yeah.
And he chose Widow's Wail instead.
Right. The worst one.
I feel bad for Tyrion at this point. Like,
Yeah.
his whole life is just a mess. I'm sure this is going to be any better. I feel like Shay doesn't understand. Like,
fit to bear my children, and you are not.
I mean,
I can't be in love with a whore.
Oh.
I can't have children with a
well, I don't think
whore.
Shay understands the
How
magnitude
many
of what
men
they're
have you
dealing
been
with.
500,
No. Poor thing.
Hmm.
Dang, Tyrion just.
He's trying his best to sever the ties.
Aw.
Hmm.
Guess you
I mean, I do
go-
like them together.
Yeah,
Go-
they're a
go
good
deep.
couple. He made her cry. She was all happy.
Oh, hey, bro.
Take her away, Bron.
Oh, Shay.
Heartless Tyler.
Exit stage right.
Accept these tokens of our faith, my
What a transition that was. Like, damn.
What in the world are they? What is she up to now at this point? You know, oh, we're burning someone.
Yeah,
Oh,
burning people alive again for sacrifice.
all right, so this is what
And
we're getting down
Stannis
with.
just still faced about this. Like,
That wife is crying. Like, she is like teary-eyed, happy for the Lord.
Oh.
Look at her.
look at her. She's
This
like
is like
getting
so-
off to this shit.
Yeah,
This is like the midsummer level of craziness.
Her and Melisandre are just like,
Our Lord took them, did you see?
this chick.
What in the world?
Here we go. Brother-in-law up in smoke.
Well, it's not a good look to be related, I guess.
Stannis doing what he does, letting
All them-
Melisandre burn his family.
All them people without them flags, I'd be gone, bruh. You up here burning folks? I'm out.
With our Lord now, this
I would hate to be related to him, but that's all I'm saying.
Look at her. She's
She's like a
Yeah,
kid.
She's hyped. Yeah, she's elated.
like, read the room, girl. He ain't down with it.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
Oh my God.
She needs the rod. She's my daughter.
Why she being mean about that little girl?
Leave her alone.
Melisandre could speak with her.
Oh, at least Stannis is nice to his daughter.
women scream when they give birth. Afterwards, they are filled with joy.
Afterward, they aren't ash and bone.
You have so many questions, don't you?
Well, she's
That
got
was
you
real
there.
Smart. Like,
Question. That was a statement, Melisandre. That was she was correct.
right.
But I suffered in other ways, sweet girl.
Forget us, Bran.
Brandon's gonna turn all like
Mother and
beastly.
father, you forget your brothers and sisters. You'd
Bran the
forget
Wolfman.
Winterfell.
I can see it.
Forget you.
Oh, three-eyed Raven's back. Ooh. The throne.
Wow, there's a lot of foreshadowing in that scene.
Yeah, some
Holy
of the stuff I think
smokes.
we've
Hello.
seen before. Yay, wedding.
Dang, it's just wedding after wedding, bruh. Like,
Well, after that last one, I don't know if I want to see any more
This
weddings.
is the third wedding in like the last 4 or 5 episodes.
Have a new queen.
Sansa throwing shade.
I agree too.
For real.
Yay, already better.
She knows how to work the room a little bit better, Sansa.
Now let's see Cersei's wedding.
You ought to try enjoying something before you die. You might find it
I knew it. I knew it was gonna be great.
Anyway, I don't know what you're complaining about. I'm paying my share. As much as you Lannisters with your debts. You
Damn.
both know you're smarter than that.
Oh.
I love her.
Me too.
I just love her.
She's gone. I know you don't want to believe it, but she is.
Well, goodbye, Shay.
Until it feels like you did the right thing.
Shay.
What an exit to the show.
Not you.
Oh. Tyler said it at the same exact time.
I mean,
Stretching out like.
Just caught me off guard. I mean,
War is war, but
Oh.
killing a man at a wedding. Horrid.
The people sitting at that table.
yeah.
My lady.
You must excuse me. It's time I ate some of this food I'd paid for.
Yes. You love it. You love to see
Good
it.
lord.
Not this song again.
They look to be having such a grand time at their wedding, huh?
Look at this. This is boring as hell. Look.
Oh.
They're just all over each other.
Oh, Oberyn and him eyeing each other too.
Because you'll never marry her.
And neither will you.
Oh.
And
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, Jamie thought he did something.
Well, and now he's just standing there, just looking the fool.
Brienne,
Oh god.
What's she got to say?
daughter. Would you love him?
Some more triangles going on. Some love triangles.
Cersei cannot be talking shit and she looking up at her like that. Like,
Yeah. Brienne's gonna lay the smack down on her.
Just slap you to the ground, girl. Don't try it.
ew.
Come on. Get this guy out of here.
Than your gnarled fingers on that girl's thighs.
Oh.
I am a man.
My little brother.
I never meant to annoy anyone.
You annoy me by
Cersei's just taking out her anger on him.
I want you to leave my presence and instruct them that all the leftovers from the feast will be brought to the kennels.
Oh, Grace.
Oh, man.
Queen.
Oh, no.
Marjorie
The queen
said they were to
is
be-
telling you the leftovers will feed the dogs.
Bitch, you ain't the queen.
Damn. She thinks she is, I guess.
Oh, she's so hateful.
Man, she was just like, leave my presence at once.
I suppose it is former Queen Regent now.
Oh.
Lord,
Damn.
The shade
So
in this
that didn't-
episode.
That didn't make her look very happy.
in other places, the rape and murder of women and children is considered distasteful.
Oh.
Ooh.
He just be pulling that, bringing that up.
For you, former Queen Regent.
Oh. People ain't pulling no punches at this wedding.
That's a very angry wedding.
King Joffrey, Renly,
Okay.
Stannis,
What the hell?
Uncle, how about you? I'm sure they have a spare costume.
Just because he's also small.
I think you should fight him. This was but a poor imitation of your own bravery on the field
Ooh.
of battle.
Okay, Tyrion.
First-hand witness.
Uncle, you can be my cupbearer, seeing as you're too cowardly to fight.
Your Grace does me a great honor.
It's not meant as an honor.
He's the worst.
Honestly.
Neil,
Come on, man.
One after another, man.
Look, the pie.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Marjorie just saving the day,
Oh.
like.
Marjorie.
It's a big old pie.
What a great use he's putting to that fancy Valyrian sword, Tywin.
Yeah, fancy sword. He opens the pie full of birds. Huh?
Uncle,
Not a good pie?
you're my cupbearer, remember?
I thought I might change out of these wet clothes, Your Grace.
Serve me my
It's
wine.
just a monster, dude.
Uh-oh. That pie must have really been got to him. He said that pie was dry.
He's choking.
Uh-oh. Let him choke. Let him choke. Let it.
He's dead.
All of a sudden, nobody in King's Landing knows CPR.
If you want to live, you have to leave.
Get Sansa out of there.
Yeah, they better get Sansa out. Look.
Oop. I mean, I'm happy though.
Look, little punk ass.
Bye-bye.
That's what you get.
Ooh.
No, don't blame Tyrion for this.
He had to die a snitch.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Ding dong, the witch is dead. The witch is dead. The witch is dead.
Thank goodness his ass is gone, y'all.
King is gone.
That brother go.
Don't even bury him. Throw him over the ledge here.
Isn't my son
Cersei, shut up.
your king? Take him!
Oh, come on.
Take him!
Okay, girl. You gonna scream at the whole wedding?
Yay!
Joffrey punk ass gone, y'all.
Finally,
Yes.
season 4. We've been waiting for so long.
Season 4, number 1.
Season 4 did it. Yes.
You did what I wanted this whole time.
The moment we've been waiting for this whole time has finally come.
Thank God.
Well, weddings continue to be quite the murderous affair.
No, I don't want. I will be concerned for anyone that gets married for the rest of the series. I think at this point, between these last 2 weddings.
Wedding. So this one was coined the purple wedding after the red wedding. Clearly, for the color of Joffrey's face at the end.
Oh God.
Of it. So,
sounds about right.
Finally, Joffrey is gone, and thus we are sent into a state of panic in King's Landing. But let's go ahead and first get into these other plot points that led us here. But before we went over there, we spent some lovely time with Ramsay Snow as his little friend Miranda, and Reek hunted down this poor girl through the woods. You might have recognized her. She was the other one with Miranda who seduced Theon last season. And then Roose Bolton came back, wanted to see what he had done with Theon. And Ramsay decided to put on an ultimate mind game manipulation by talking about Robb Stark's death and all that, while Theon literally held a blade to his throat to prove that he was brainwashed and would not harm Ramsay. So Roose is sending him up to take back part of the North so that they can fully be the ruler of the North. How'd you feel about that storyline, Tyler?
I mean, it was definitely, well, I guess until we got towards the end, it was probably the most despicable of the storylines when it comes to Ramsay Snow. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of him. I mean, I don't think that's a very shocking thing to say. He's definitely a very evil character to everyone, including his dad. It's a shame that Theon, aka Reek, is in that position he's in. I think at this point he's already kind of paid his penance for what he's done. So no, it's kind of at this point it's kind of just a shame. I'm waiting for his family to roll up in and try and save the day, because I know that his sister Yara is somewhere with the best men. Yeah, just despicable. It's a shame what's going on. I guess almost in a sense he almost feels like he's going to be the character I hate the most now that Joffrey's dead.
Yeah.
Well, Leo, how did you feel about them and what you recall of that storyline leading up to this point?
Gosh, at this point, it was just like you're looking at this episode and you're asking yourself, who's worse, Ramsay or Joffrey? Like, seriously, these guys are both tyrants. Theon kind of deserved that beat down, but he didn't deserve to be castrated. He didn't deserve to be
all that extra stuff. Yeah.
I was really, when I first saw this episode, I was like, just kill him, just do it. Just look, Roose is gonna kill you, whatever, but just kill this guy.
Take one for
he
the
had
team.
His chance. That right there was the proving point that he had made the full shift from Theon Greyjoy to Reek, somebody who was just a very small version of who Theon used to be. Roose Bolton sucks. I don't know if he's quite Ramsay level though after all this torturing. I mean, like, the red wedding was really messed up, but he just went and did it. Come on, man. Ramsay's over here just tearing Theon up. It was just like, wow. But
this didn't make you love Roose a little bit, Tyler?
Oh man, I think they're both terrible. Like, I think even said in the episode, I don't know which one's worse at this point. You know, they're both pretty terrible. I mean, I guess the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree in this case. They're both pretty terrible.
And what do you expect with a house who literally has a flayed man on an X as their sigil? You know, dragon, direwolf, flayed human being. Like, okay,
not the most kind of people, it would seem.
We also did see some of Stannis and Sir Davos this episode, with Melisandre making more sacrifices to the Lord of the Lights, burning family members of Stan.
I mean, at this point, like if you're related to him, you need to like leave, like go as far away from as possible. I mean, he's gonna kill you at some point.
Yeah, and his wife Celise, she is all in. She's all about that fanaticist life with
Ridiculous.
Melisandre, but she has a much meaner attitude towards their daughter than Stannis does, who, at the very least, does seem to have a soft spot for her.
Someone in his family.
Someone in his family he seems to like, because he doesn't seem to like his wife even all that much, to be honest.
No, she's probably next.
Yeah, he's just stone faced at everyone, like gives them all mean grin. Like this dude, just the king of mean grins, bro. Like
poor Sir Davos, just like, this is all nuts.
Well, the wife was like so hyped up, like she was like the kid in the candy shop when they was getting killed. Did you see that? Did you see that, guys? I'm like, dude.
And then little Shireen getting a lesson from Melisandre about the Lord of Light and the Lord of Death. How'd you feel about that little exchange there, Leo?
I just want to say I am so proud of her for the comebacks that she made from Melisandre. It was like every time she had a comment, she's like, well, no, nah, but this. And I'm like, go ahead. No, don't be believing that. Yeah, it's cringy. Like Melisandre is just full on cringe. Her exchanges with her full on cringe. And yeah, I love the little girl, but
you're not converted to the Lord of the Light, Leo.
No, absolutely not.
I can't see anyone converting
after that
at this
shadow
point.
demon thing. I'm like,
what about you, Tyler? Are you holding out like Davos, or are you more like his wife, Celise?
I don't know. If I was around them, I'd need to leave. Like I need to, especially if I was related to Stannis. Like there's a good chance eventually, if I'm related to that man, like I'm on the chopping block at some point. So I'm gonna need to not be there when he decides that it's the best to take me out at that point in time.
Oh. And do you have any other feelings about Melisandre and that little story this episode?
I thought it was great seeing the clapbacks towards her, because I mean she does a lot of it, she does speak a bit crazy a lot of the time. So it's nice to see some people kind of be like, no, not really.
Well, being burned alive and giving birth to a child, not the same actually, but okay.
Just a bit. Yeah.
How do you make that comparison? What the heck? And Stannis had all them guys standing up there with the flags and just a full-on army. Man, I would have been like, I'm out of here, dude. He's
Exactly.
burning his in-laws. I'm out.
Well, we did see Bran this episode as he was warging once again into his dire wolf summer, out there eating some deer.
Very exciting.
We learned that if he does it for too long, though, that he will eventually, kind of like we talked about with Orell when he died last season, that if you warg for too long, you just kind of lose yourself in the animal that you're in. But then he's brought to a tree, and we see a very quick succession of images ranging from the past with Ned in that dungeon. We see a very similar image to what Daenerys saw in the House of the Undying of the throne as the snow was coming down. We even see King's Landing with the shadow overhead. But he says he knows where to go now, but doesn't fill us in. So, how'd you feel about Bran this episode, Tyler?
I mean, it's good to see some sort of interesting stuff actually come out of their storyline, because it has been one of my least favorites. And at least the tidbits we've gotten so far, at least have been exciting, even if they haven't been explained, because they are kind of just ambiguous, kind of foreshadowing. Some of those things in the foreshadowing seem very interesting. Like you said, we saw the throne once again. Curious what that's all about. The shadow flying over King's Landing, that's, to me, seems like a dragon. You know, I can't imagine of any other big giant flying things through the air that are in the Game of Thrones universe. I just imagine maybe it's a dragon. Maybe they finally actually just let Daenerys do her thing and the dragon becomes like gigantic, and well, maybe they'll fly over to King's Landing. Maybe that'll be what happens. I don't know, because I don't know. It's foreshadowing and it's not explained. Bran didn't decide to explain any of that stuff to us, because he probably doesn't know half of it either. But yeah, it's a good thing for Bran. You know, this gave him some interesting stuff for his storyline this episode.
Right, Leo. How have you felt about Bran up to this point in his little story, and then what we saw here today?
Bran has been boring. Let me just be honest. Like, his story has been extremely boring, but I'm so glad we got this detail and we got to see him like actually see the future and the past and things that have happened and are possibly going to happen. Honestly, this is my first time watching since season 8 came out. So I was like seeing all that, and I was like, oh, there could potentially be some foreshadowing going on in those visions. So pretty interesting to come back to that moment. That was a nice moment, but everything else, I'm sorry, Bran, let's hurry it up, man. You got to go here, you got to go there. Hurry it up.
They have definitely stretched his storyline out the most out of the other ones.
Well, then the King's Landing took up most everything else. We see Bronn and Jaime getting their little training session on, learning to use that little left hand now. Then we see Tyrion have to take dramatic action. He decides, I have to get Shay out of here. Varys tells him that Cersei now knows about Shay, and it'll just be a matter of time before Tywin knows, and bad things will happen. So Tyrion gets quite mean and insults Shay as viciously as he knows to do in his head in order for her to leave. And he sends her away with Bronn. Bronn does assure him that she got onto the ship and the ship left and that nobody followed him. We'll leave that as Bronn's little moments. How'd you feel about all that, Leo?
Poor Shay, y'all. Why did Tyrion have to go in that hard?
She wouldn't leave.
I mean, like, he didn't have to go all the way in like that. Like, he went all the way in talking about she slept with 5,000 men. Like, okay, dog, you didn't have to go through all that, man. I hated that. I love Shay. I think Shay is awesome. So
he was basically like, Shay is for the streets.
Yeah, right. He said, girl, you for the streets, but right now you for that ocean. So I'm about to send you across there, give you a cabin. It wasn't a bad setup in the end for her, but that was just that was so sad to see her go. But the Bronn Jaime scene was cool. He was not going easy on him. I would have loved to see him just smack him. Right.
Yeah, it's not really training at that point.
He's just coming at you.
Like, come on, Jaime, you can use that hand to block, bro. Like, when that sword come down, just knock it out of his
just
hand.
there.
Bronn's over here elbowing people and stuff. I'm like, come on now.
Jaime's just using his hand as like a paperweight, I guess. I mean, he's not doing anything with it.
Just hanging there at the side, like, come on, dog.
It's just aesthetic purposes.
How'd you feel about that little subset, Tyler?
I figured it's for the best that Shay goes out in this way. I guess it's better for her to leave this way, at least, not being hung or murdered. Like, once they really found out about Shay and Tyrion's little thing, she was obviously going to die. So better for her to get on the ship with all of this stuff and a cabin. Hopefully, maybe they don't find out about that, because if she goes away and she's in the cabin, they're like, oh, we're gonna go get her. But I don't know. As far as the Bronn stuff with Jaime and Bronn, I mean, I like both of those characters at this point now, more so Bronn than Jaime. So, I mean, they didn't really interact all that much at all. So that was kind of fun, seeing two characters you don't really see interact all that much and in such a fun fashion. Hopefully, maybe Bronn takes it a little bit easier on Jaime next time they have a little lesson. Maybe Jaime can start using that hand that he has now. Could come in handy. I mean, it looks like it could do some damage if you hit somebody with it.
Well, then all of the pre-wedding stuff, we see Joffrey using his new gifts to destroy the gift that Tyrion gave him. We meet, I believe this is the first time we've met Mace Tyrell, Marjorie's father.
Yeah, I think so. I hadn't seen him before, to my knowledge.
He's running around. We get fun, shade-filled conversations throughout this entire wedding. Everybody just running from one to the next, shading each other as quickly as possible, including our girl Olenna with her conversations with Tywin. After her own son, she just like dismisses him when he tries to join in. She's like, no, get out of here. We see Oberyn straight on confront Tywin about why he's actually here, about killing and raping children and women. Ooh.
Yeah, you knew that was coming. You knew Oberyn eventually was going to find him and speak to him. So that was a good exchange.
We see Jaime try to read Loras, but Loras gets the last jab and walks off, saying you ain't gonna marry her either. So neither will you. Bye.
Great relationship drama in Game of Thrones is hilarious.
And then we see Cersei going through a little bit of a power-hungry midlife crisis. running around, undermining Marjorie, pretending she's still the queen, absolutely destroying Grandmaster Pycelle.
Straight up, just like leave my presence at once.
Oh my God, she just tore him down. Like
Oh.
it's like, dang, he wasn't even doing nothing. Well, being creepy, but like, what else?
I mean,
is
I was
new?
okay with it, you know.
All is leading up to Joffrey act some of his worst, maybe of the entire show. I mean, he's done objectively worse things, like, you know, murdering people or ordering other people to be murdered. But whew, he just was insufferable as he goes on and on, just making his wedding about being miserable and bringing Tyrion down to be even more miserable, and just keeps it going until finally he gets this pie, he has this wine, and he starts choking until he dies. Meanwhile, we see Sir Dantos pop up out the side and tell Sansa, "Come with me or you will not live," and takes her out of there. And Cersei, by Joffrey's pointed hand, yells that it was Tyrion who killed the king. So, Tyler, do you have any guesses, first of all, on who it might have been? Do you believe it was Tyrion, or any other leads on who might have killed Joffrey?
I mean, I don't think it was Tyrion. I mean, as much as I would have liked that to happen, I don't think it was Tyrion. I mean, I feel like out of anyone at that table, I feel like Sansa probably had the best motivation. Just because of all the BS that Joffrey's put her through like the last 4 seasons. Maybe Olenna, because Olenna brought up the whole stuff when it comes to killing people at weddings. Maybe that was like a foreshadowing kind of bit. I know there's a lot of foreshadowing in this show, so I'm thinking maybe that was some foreshadowing. But those are like the only 2 culprits. Maybe Oberyn, because he's obviously there for revenge, and that's like a great way to get revenge by killing the king. I don't know. Those, of the people that are there, that would make the most sense to me. I guess those are my 3 prime suspects.
How'd you feel about everything else on this extravagant wedding that ended with a bang?
Joffrey being Joffrey, definitely not a shock there. He was a terrible person to the end. He went out exactly how I expected him to. Just painful, slow, very satisfying. Probably one of the very few satisfying deaths in the show, in the sense that like it wasn't a character I really enjoyed, but I really wanted to see their comeuppance, and thankfully they're gone. So I guess that does kind of throw a wrench when it comes to the whole king queen aspect, because I guess that's probably going to postpone Cersei's marriage to Loras. Maybe, I don't know. It could throw some wrenches in things. So
They
thankfully,
didn't
maybe
consummate their marriage either, so Marjorie is kind of in a weird place too.
Maybe Cersei's thankful that this happened in a sense, because she won't have to marry Loras. But I guess Marjorie would be queen, so that's cool. I like Marjorie, so yay.
How did you feel watching this episode live for the first time and catching up there, Leo?
Oh man, well, what I love so much about this episode is how much it does build up Joffrey to just be this horrible person. Like, we just see him do the most horrible things to Tyrion. I mean, kick the cup, dropped it, pouring wine on his head. I mean, it's like we see the buildup, and when he dies, it is like such a satisfying payoff, because we just seen him be a complete tyrant at a wedding. Like, of all places, this is this dude's wedding. He is just ruining the mood with this horrible play of like little people like Tyrion doing and telling him to go get involved with it. I mean, it's like, it was just the worst of the worst Joffrey that we've seen in a while. So it was like such a nice payoff when he died, because it was like,
yeah,
gosh, we get a freaking break from that.
Some relief, maybe.
And I love the shade. I mean, Olenna, our queen of shade, y'all.
Absolutely.
Every time she's on screen, y'all, let me go eat some of this food that I paid for. Like, she's hilarious, guys. Like, she's one of the best characters in the show, but such a satisfying end to Joffrey's horrifying arc. Now all we got Ramsay now. So
seems to be like the next worst person at this point, at least for me, at least.
This is our first real good death. I mean, we've had so many people we love in this show die up to this point, brutal deaths up to this point.
Anyone I liked, basically.
Finally, we get like a good, satisfying death of a horrible person in this universe.
And it got to season 4.
Finally, season 4.
It's like the people make it. Like, you know what I mean? Like Cersei's still alive. Like these horrible people are making it, y'all.
Keep trucking. All right. So Leo, you can't do this because you already know. But Tyler, after that ending, that dramatic ending, what predictions do you have moving forward?
I don't know. I figured we'll probably get some sort of confrontation between the Night's Watch and the Wildlings and the cannibals. Because I forget their name. I just know they're the cannibal people. Okay. I don't know. The cannibal people sounds cooler to me. I figure they're going to fight at some point just because they're building up to that, especially now that John and all them are back. And I guess it's going to be awkward. I feel like it's going to be awkward because, his girlfriend's on the other side of the war. As far as other storylines, I mean, I figure there's going to be a whole lot of drama now that they are accusing Tyrion of killing Joffrey. Maybe he'll go on trial again. So it seems like poor guy's like always like getting thrown into jail or trial. Maybe another trial by combat. He's going to get Bronn to be his trial by combat buddy again. No Arya or the Hound either. That was another one I'm looking forward to seeing. So I guess they're going to still head that way unless she dies along the way, because that seems to be the bad luck omen of everywhere they go. They just die.
Every time she gets close, it's just kidding.
That's what 3 seasons in a row. A lot of death in that family, so I feel bad for them.
Stark's the first, man. Like
seems like it. Jon Snow seems to be the only one that's kind of like hanging out, kind of doing his thing. I mean, he almost got cut off the wall, I guess.
Jon Snow.
I don't know. I guess that's my big predictions. I'm excited to see what plays out when it comes to the drama with Tyrion this season. I'm sure he's going to be on trial, so I'm sure. I feel like that'll take up a bulk of the season. His drama. Hopefully he survives. Otherwise, I may not watch the show again.
That might be it. All right. So for this episode, Tyler, who were your faves and least faves?
Faves, probably Tyrion still, even if he was kind of mean to Shay. Almost everyone in that shade battle. I mean, Olenna, Oberyn. Yeah. I mean, Marjorie was great. She was her moments were a lot more subtle, but like at least her moments when she was there, she kind of did save the day, if you will.
It was like, thank God Marjorie was here over and over to break this tension. My God.
Yeah.
Come back, my love. Like
the pie, yay!
that pie looked disgusting. Like
I was trying to figure out what it was.
They showed the opening and there was like dead birds in it. So that was like, ugh. I mean, Bronn was also pretty entertaining as well. Jamie, not so much, although he did have that fun exchange. Least favorites, I guess, Joffrey. I gotta put it.
This is like the last episode you can put. I mean, he'll be on our season ranking, of course, but this is the last episode he'll be there.
Yeah, but I guess that's the conundrum. Can Joffrey continue his reign as the worst character, even though he's only in 2 episodes of the season? I mean, that'd be pretty impressive. Joffrey, Ramsay is definitely up there now. He's alive, so he's kind of has to be the new person I hate the most in the show, because he's the one that's going to keep going. And his dad sucks too. I'm trying to think. Yeah, at least of the people in this episode, they were probably some of my least favorites. Wow. I also forgot to talk about Stannis and Melisandre. Melisandre should be up there too. She's weird.
Oh, in the least.
In the least, or no?
Unless randomly you just loved what she did this episode.
No, not this episode. I'd put maybe Stannis' daughter in the people I like though.
Yeah,
but that's everyone.
So Leo, who were you liking in this series to this point?
Come on, y'all. We got to give a round of applause to Olenna Tyrell. She is the queen of shade. She's amazing. She has a comeback for everything and has something witty to say at all times. Absolutely love her. She's great comic relief. Tyrion too, but man, why do you have to tear down?
I know that was like his one.
Say it like that,
that was his one negative.
Like it's like, why you gotta go? He went all the way in, like looked her in the eye and said,
Yo,
Slept with 5,000 men. Get out of my house. I got a little cabin
you
for
a
you.
whore.
You out of here. Like, I was like, man, he had to go in like that. But I understand, Tyler. You're right. You had to do it, or else Shay would not have left because she was putting up quite the fight, quite the battle. But yeah, Tyrion, Olenna, Marjorie. God, thank God for Marjorie this episode.
Our queen, our literal queen.
Our literal queen, saving us from everything. And let me be real here. I thought the pie looked kind of good when he had it on the plate. I was like, okay, is that some peach pie? Like, what we messing with over there?
That was dead bird pie.
Yeah, the like bird head that like plopped out of there was kind of like.
That's what I mean. It was like flaky and dry and gross.
Yikes. Man, when Joffrey started coughing, though, least favorite character thus far. I mean, seriously, what a horrible person. Loved seeing him die. Never thought I would say those words, but
yeah,
we are.
Game of Thrones does that to you. It makes you root for people to die.
Yeah, seriously.
Me every episode.
Ramsay, Bruce, Melisandre, even Stannis, man. You gonna sit there and let your people die like that?
Just gonna burn him up. Let's throw his wife in too for good measure.
I mean,
I guess,
maybe
yeah.
she was celebrating and like, look, they're cleansed of their sins. I'm like, well, maybe you should go jump in with them because you really have
of your sins next.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, those are my favorite and least favorites. And I mean, Oberyn.
Oh,
got that in really smoothly. Loved it.
And they're flirting with Loras as him and like Ilaria are like almost getting it on the table.
Yeah, they were ready. They were ready to just get down in front of everyone. Good for them.
That's what they're doing.
Dorne located again?
Yeah, Dorne. All right. Well, that was our reaction and discussion for season 4, episode 2, The Lion and the Rose. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on all of my latest videos, including each and every one of our Game of Thrones reactions. Tyler, do you want to let them know where to find you on the internet?
Yeah, if you search up my name on here, you'll find my YouTube channel, but you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at @IsTylerCalford.
And Leo, once again, thank you so much for coming on and reacting.
Yeah, this was great.
Do you want to let them know where they can find you?
Well, thank you guys for having me on. It was a pleasure. I loved seeing this episode again after seeing all 8 seasons. This is my first time going back through after seeing the whole series. So it's nice to get a cool refresher.
Mine
guys,
too.
Thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, well, Tyler, you're in for it, man. But guys, you can find me over on YouTube at Geekly Goods and then on Twitter at Leo Rydell. Larry, thanks for having me on. This was a blast, y'all.
All right. So make sure you go ahead and follow both of them as well. And let us know what you thought of season 4, episode 2. Were you happy and elated to finally be done with Joffrey? Or were you sad that the king had died? Let us know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit any one of us up on Twitter. We love you all so much for your continued support. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.